And welcome to another edition of the Throwing Bagels podcast. Hi, I'm Kevin Mooney. Thank you for joining us. And with me is Jason Hamo and Chris Douglas. Hey, guys.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Let's see.
That's very sensual sounding.
A lot of stories have taken place recently. I think maybe the biggest one was I can't put my finger on it. We got some snow
Yeah,
in
you know what the
Syracuse
biggest one?
area.
Yeah, I've got a good one because
Ooh.
I think the biggest story was the Everton Liverpool match being postponed because of weather, giving Liverpool an extra week of rest and going into the Champions League game tomorrow against Girona.
Yeah,
No,
nobody
that's not it.
cares. No, nobody
that's not
cares.
it, actually.
No, that wasn't it.
No.
Okay. 15 years, $765 million. Juan Soto is a New York Met.
That's insanity.
According to sources.
I'm not paying it.
According to sources, because he still has to pass the physical. And we've been down that road before, fellow Mets fans. So the Mets have not made it official, but multiple sources have confirmed that Soto has signed that deal. That's a $75 million signing bonus, no deferred money, none of this Otani stuff, deferring everything out till whenever. And there's an opt out after season 5, which the Mets could void by raising his annual salary for those last 10 years to $55 million a year. So if they do that, which I mean,
They will.
we don't have a crystal ball, but odds are they're going to do that. And that would pay Soto a total of $805 million over those 12. So
stupid.
We're not that far away, guys, from $1 billion contract.
No, but
We're
you know
gonna
what
see
though?
it.
I don't think it's good. I don't see. Here's the thing though, is like I think this is more of an anomaly in the aspect of because the way baseball contracts generally work, right? Because most players don't become free agents until they're close to like 30 years old, right?
True.
Like look at Aaron Judge, look at Pete Alonso, look at most players, right? They don't generally become free agents. The best players usually don't come up until they're like 21, 22 at the at the earliest, right? Soto was just, an anomaly where he was up at basically like 18, 19 years old.
Right.
So he's 26 and he's becoming a free agent because he's been playing for all those years already. Whereas most of these other guys, they're not getting a 15-year contract because they're 30 years old. Like
Right.
10 years is a lot for a lot of those guys, So Soto will be 41 when his contract ends, but you know, the Mets should be getting close to 10 years in his prime.
Yeah. And let's be honest, he's probably not going to play the last 5 years in a Mets uniform, right? I would assume so anyway.
I mean, where else is he going to go? Who's going to pay that? Who's going to pay that
But,
contract?
isn't it guaranteed money though? Because the Mets are going to end up paying it all, aren't they?
Well, no, but if he got traded or something, then the other team would pick it up unless the Mets said, "Well, we'll eat it."
Well,
But
I'm sure because that's usually what happens with the Mets. They eat all the contracts.
well, I mean, with
Okay.
with Uncle Steve, he can
Uncle
do it.
Steve.
Now, that's a long time from now.
That is a long time.
Let's enjoy the moment.
Oh yeah. You know what the most
That-
enjoyable part is? Is all these Yankee fans on social media, including Nick Turturro. All right. And
Yeah, I saw that.
Blue Nick Turturro getting on there. Bleep you. You're terrible. Okay, buddy. Relax. Relax, Yankee fans.
My favorite is the guy that I really hope this guy actually lives in Queens and didn't travel from like another borough or someplace else to go to Queens, standing in front of Citi Field, screaming, dropping F-bomb after F-bomb at Juan Soto, basically telling him that he stinks. And then he turns around and he goes, "This is where you want to play." And he turns around and shows like the chop shops of that are basically going to get knocked down very soon to build the new stadium, the new soccer stadium, and the hotel and all that other stuff that Steve Cohen wants to build. But like he's like, "This is where you want to build in this the place." Meanwhile, I'm like, the Yankees playing the South Bronx. Like there's not much nice there.
No,
like, there's nothing really there. So,
Please.
you're taking your anger out
Yeah.
on the wrong thing.
And that stadium's a dump too.
Right.
Ah,
Should
it's a gold plated dump, but
Yeah,
it's
that's exactly it. And then there's the whole thing about I don't know if you guys saw that apparently one thing that pissed him off about the Yankees that it was sounded like almost the whole way he was signing with the Yankees, but there was something that happened earlier last season, I guess, that a security guard stopped his dad and his driver slash chef
yeah.
from coming in, and that really pissed him off. And the
Hmm.
Mets found out about that and really like used that to their advantage and basically had Alex Cohen be like and brought their traveling secretary with them and was like, "Listen, this is how we treat family and friends of our players." And I think that kind of went a long way. It seems
Of
like,
course.
you
It did.
know,
Of
And
course.
so the other teams were meeting with Soto at a hotel out in California, but Cohen said no, he's going to come to my place in California. And he did. So he was the only owner basically to get an exception to visiting Soto in the hotel where Scott Boras was setting up shop. So the fact that he was able to invite him into one of his, I don't know, handful of homes out in California, right? It's nuts. Like ever since Steve Cohen bought this franchise, it has been the transformation has been extraordinary, I think.
I mean,
You know.
you went from basically slumming it to the penthouse
Yeah.
because you went from being literally poor to, being the
Mm,
wealthiest person in the world almost.
right.
And you could even pull from Scott Boris's vocabulary where the Mets were shopping in the bargain bin a few
Right.
years ago, and now they have acquired the Mona Lisa.
Hmm.
So quite the turnaround, thanks to the richest owner in baseball.
Yeah. I heard some comparisons between uh Uncle Steve Cohen and Steve Ballmer of the LA
Uh,
Clippers.
hmm.
Because, the Mets and Clippers have kind of been the redheaded
Yeah.
stepchild in each of their, respective leagues. And it's like, well, we're here now. Although it kind of hasn't really worked out for the Clippers quite yet, even though they got a brand new, beautiful, beautiful stadium, arena, downtown. But
Hmm.
hey, listen, let's just be happy with this. All right.
Yeah.
And let's add some pitching.
Exactly.
Yes.
Let's hope it works out. Let's hope it works out. Knock on wood, and let's get some pitching. Maybe re-sign Alonso. I don't know if
Yes.
that's going to happen, but we could definitely use one more bat, but definitely at least another frontline starter, at least one more.
So, do we think Soto's going to play the field? Because man, he stinks in the outfield.
I think he'll start. I think he'll start playing in the field, and then eventually, I feel like they're gonna have Marte DH this year,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
or maybe even platoon them, like DH right field. Like they're both gonna play every day almost, but like have one DHing and one playing right field. See how it goes. I feel like Soto's probably part of his thing was like I want to play right field. Like I'm not playing. I want to play the field. You
Hmm.
know, he's not great, but he's not. I don't think he's as bad as everyone makes him out to
No,
be.
no, I don't think so. I just saw
I
highlights
mean,
like,
it's it is it's the whole thing that he got nominated for a Gold Glove. Like, come on, dude.
yeah, that's a little crazy.
Like
All the
that's
highlights that I saw today on all the social media was him missing the ball in right
right.
field. It's like, all right, relax.
Yeah.
Oh, it was the game against in the Subway Series when he misplayed a ball, and Keith
Mhm.
Hernandez on the broadcast said the guy's a liability out there.
Oh, now Keith is. Now we'll see what
So,
Keith says now.
He'll
whoops.
probably still say the same thing, to be
No, he
fair.
will.
It's Keith.
He won't. Yeah, he won't. He won't change anything. That's for sure.
How much did we pay him?
Yeah, I know. I mean, probably Marte is not the defender he once was, and Soto arguably is just as good, if not a little
Mm.
better than Marte at this point.
Yeah, he's
So
Marte's got a better arm. That's
yeah,
that's what it
uh,
comes down to.
so Nimmo in left and Siri in center, and probably Soto Marte will swap out DH, and then really the first base situation if they bring Alonso back, that will pretty much make Marte the DH, I would think. And
I
then
don't know if Siri's going to be the full-time center fielder though. You think so?
Taylor, I mean, Taylor's gonna
Yeah.
certainly be a
or
capable fourth
or one of
outfielder.
those guys down in the minors. I don't know.
Could
You'll see
be.
how one of those guys play in spring training.
Yeah.
You got your clip. You got Gilbert
Gilbert.
and Jet
Yeah.
Williams. So you'll see how one of
Right.
those two guys perform if they somehow do well in spring training. I could see them coming up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Isn't
And don't forget Ronnie Mauricio is coming back
Mhm.
from his knee
Yeah.
injury. So there's an abundance of options,
Jet
which
Williams is the perfect name for a center fielder, by the way.
it is.
Perfect.
Yeah, right. I did read though that Mauricio hasn't had the greatest rehab. So I don't know what that means
Hmm.
as far as, how he's going to be, if he's going to be ready for opening day and where they're going to put him either way. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
right now, the Mets have what they always wanted. They have that abundance in of young players that they could use as trade chips because there's talks who I don't really want, but there's talks of trading for Luis Robert from the White Sox. He's not bad. I don't really want him personally. I don't love him, but I read something about like trading Acuna for him, and I was like,
Mm,
I don't know about that one.
yeah.
Let's slow our roll on that one a little bit. So
It's a good day
it's a
for
good
Mets
problem to have,
fans.
that's for sure.
And
It is
Yes.
it is a very good problem to have.
you know,
Indeed. Indeed.
and winter meetings are today was we speak, of course, we record every Monday evening or every other Monday evening, and winter meetings go on for another couple of days. So a lot can
Mhm.
happen between the
Mhm.
time we record this and the time it actually gets to your
That's
ears
true. Yeah.
listening. So
Yeah,
a lot can go on, but hopefully
everyone is there.
everyone's there. So
Everyone is
hopefully
there.
Alonso comes back, they sign an ace or trade for one.
I mean,
That's all
I
I want.
mean,
That's my wish list.
everyone's just going to be lining up to talk to Boris because he pretty much
I know.
has all the best players left on the
That's
market.
true.
Like the best players
Yeah.
are his clients. You got
Yes.
Alonso, you got Burns, you got I think Freed. I think they're all Boris clients. So
A- And you know the crazy thing about Boris is like I think his commission was like 5% on this transaction. Isn't that's
man,
insane? Just 5% is dude,
He's
you're set
72
for
years old. Just
five
take the
percent
money
makes
and
you set for
run.
life.
Yeah,
it's for his kids and
I know.
grandkids.
Can you imagine that making 5% off $765 million?
I mean,
God,
yeah, you're set for life. Like literally.
You are.
that is insanity.
You'd have to do nothing for the rest of your
Look,
life. You just, go to Cabo.
I
And he
got
still
my
has and he still has 5% on multiple other contracts coming
Right.
his way.
yeah, I got my calculator out. So 5% of 765 million is $38.25 million.
Not a bad day's work right there. Not a bad
minus
day's work.
taxes from California. So you're looking about 20 million net, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how do you know that's his permanent address? You don't know if that's his permanent address.
That's
I know it's hard. You can't put the Soto signing into really significant historical perspective, but when you look at, I'm trying to think of what other transactions in Mets history are bigger than this, and I think drafting Tom Seaver is probably number one,
Yeah.
because of all the dominoes that have fallen from that one decision. And you could say, trading for Gary Carter, which was the final piece to the 86 puzzle after trading for Hernandez,
Mhm.
trading for Mike Piazza, which set up the Mets through, the late 90s, early aughts. Um, but
Drafting Strawberry and Gooden,
drafting,
basically back to back.
so I don't know, but time will tell whether Soto's deal, signing Soto to this contract is, I mean, arguably right now, it's already one of the biggest moments in Mets history. But let's see what history says, because none of these contracts have aged well. I can't think of any 15-year
no,
contract that has aged well.
no, none of them
No,
have.
no.
But it's different again, right? Because
Right.
he's 26 years old. So
Yes, he is.
you're going to get him, like Jason said earlier, you're going to get him 10 years in his prime, like easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is
So-
not a 32-year-old signing a 15-year deal. This is a guy who
Right.
just turned 26.
Right. So,
So
I mean, it's the same, but it's different just because of the
Mhm.
age.
Yeah.
Right.
You just
So-
you just hope, knock on wood, that he stays healthy throughout most of these years. That's all you can ask for.
Yeah.
But I mean, all these other guys, they're all a little bit older, right? Bryce Harper was another one of those guys. He was
Yeah.
younger. He came up at a younger age, so he became a free agent and he signed, I think, 13 years, I believe it was, with the Phillies.
Yeah.
You know, and he only got his was only like two, was it
Oh yeah,
200
no, all
something,
that's changed. Well,
300
the
something? I
yeah,
think
the
it was. I
math has
can't
changed
remember.
on that so
Yeah,
much. Like
crazy.
it's beyond crazy.
But his contract was humongous at the time.
Thir
You know,
13
Yes.
years, 330 million
yeah.
Yeah.
And
guaranteed.
I remember I remember at the time it was everyone was like he doesn't have an opt out. Like there's no opt outs in
Right.
that contract.
Yeah.
It's a straight up 13-year deal. That's it.
Right. And I think before that was Giancarlo Stanton. They got 300 million,
Yeah.
I believe, right? Something like that.
And
So,
his was a long deal also.
yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Marlins are still
Yeah.
paying for it.
That's right. That's right.
Yankees been trying to shed that contract for God knows how long. Except for the
Man.
playoffs this year. Now they're like, oh, now we can't get rid of him anymore. He was the best player on the team in the playoffs.
But one thing that got me, guys, and as we talk, the announcement that Soto signed a deal was less than 24 hours ago from when
Mhm.
we're talking. And when it first came out, people were like cheering like the Mets had won the World Series or something. And I'm like, hold on, just hold on.
This is the Mets we're talking
Wait,
about.
yeah, this is the Mets. You know, at some point, I read something online where it said, so when is he gonna get his fingers stuck in a bowling ball return or something like
Bullet right. Or stick his hand in a blender for some stupid reason, right? I mean, that's what we
Mets.
as Mets fans worry
That's what
about.
insurance is for, though, right there.
I know there's no insurance on that.
Of course there is. There's insurance policies for everything, my friend. Everything.
There is. But I know in the past the Mets have won a handful of these winters, and it does not
And
translate into,
it never has translated really well for them. So
nope.
let's just hope this one somehow does.
Yeah. I mean, we just need some pitching.
We're due for one at this point.
You
It's
have to
been God
believe
knows
that,
how
right?
long.
Yeah. I mean, we were close last year and we were the underdog
They
for some
weren't even
reason.
that, yeah. I mean, no one expected them to be where they were last year. So,
One of the highest payrolls in the sport. No one expected you to be
oh, that's
there.
because half of the
Yeah,
contracts they were paying off. They weren't even on the
I know.
team. Now they shed all that
Uh,
this year, so they were able to go out and be like, Soto it is, let's go.
Yeah.
let's
Do
go.
or die. Uncle Steve wasn't gonna back off. He's like, I'm getting my man.
That's right. And it sort of really only took maybe five because Yankees, their offer was basically 5 million less,
Mhm.
and he went with the
Yeah.
Mets, which there you go.
Surprised a lot of people.
It did, especially Yankee fans, right?
Nick
You know, if
Lazaro.
he,
Just pissed
if
them
he,
off.
yeah, if he had decided to sign with the Yankees, they would have been holding that over our heads. Yeah,
Yeah.
you chose the big brother. Yeah,
Yeah. My favorite are the Yankee fans who now are like, oh, it'll just be another Bobby Bonilla in a couple of years. Like
yeah,
they're trying to rationalize all these different things now,
Yeah.
right? Oh, it'll be another Bobby Bonilla in a few years. Oh, just wait until 15 years. That's crazy. Who would ever pay that much money for a contract? Meanwhile, did you look at what the Yankees just offered
I
him?
mean,
They offered him 16 years.
any team that could afford to was in the running and offered
yeah.
similar contracts.
Yeah. I think the reason the Dodgers probably weren't even close to being in it was because they're deferring everything and they're
Right.
not even he wasn't going to defer any money.
Nope.
So
That's going to hurt, man. The Dodgers 10 years from now, they're going to have
I
60,
can't even
70 million
imagine.
on the books that are paid to players who aren't
More
even
than
there.
that. More than
Yeah.
that. I
Could
mean, just
be
look how much they owe. Look how much they're going to owe Otani
a
alone.
year. Yeah. 60, 70 million a year.
And then you add in Blake Snell and
Mhm.
Tommy Edman and I is Freeman. I don't know how much Freeman is deferred if he has anything deferred. I don't even know, but they have
Oh,
so many deferred contracts.
they, Dodgers also signed our friend Michael Conforto.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
did they? I didn't see
Yeah.
Away
that.
from the Giants. Yeah.
Right from the Giants.
But
Uh,
I mean, as far as the deferred money though goes, like they're taking that money and they're investing it, right? I mean, that's kind of what they're banking on is to make the money up
right. You would
and
hope.
yeah,
Yeah.
and right, and that's kind of how
Pay it off that
their
way. Right.
business model is structured. So time will tell with that too.
Just don't
Time
get
will tell.
swindled in the stock market.
Yeah. before the podcast started, I said to Allison, "Look, I got to go dig into my hat archive," and I came out with the green Mets hat, which I wore for a little bit, but it's a little small.
A little snug.
So it was crushing my
your head get
I'm
bigger?
like, I have to get this off. Yeah, I did.
You've been
My-
taking steroids?
Injections, yes.
I'm-
Injections into
yeah.
the ass. Yeah, sorry.
Excuse me.
No, Bonds did.
Oh, Chris, can't take you anywhere.
I know.
So I had to take that off, put on the one I kind of have in the office here. So I have a couple of hats to keep handy, when I go out.
Yeah.
But yeah, I couldn't
You
do the
have
green one.
more than you have more
One
than
of
a
your
couple
many,
hats.
one of your many,
Right.
many Mets hats.
I have a problem, and I'm willing to admit that.
First step is
Listen.
acknowledging you have a problem.
Yeah, exactly. There's worse problems too.
It's true. And it's fitted hats. So I have an issue. I buy fitted baseball hats from, official on the field, whatever. And my first one was in high school, right? So we're going back to the late 90s, mid 90s,
Mid-90s, yeah.
mid 90s. And I bought it. I forget what the hat store was. Was it Foot Locker at the mall?
Lids.
I don't even know if Lids was around back then.
Pre-Lids,
I
I
think it was before
think.
Lids.
Yeah.
Pre-Lids.
Pre-lids.
Where did you go? You went to Modell's, or at least in New York City where we grew up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jay and I
Sports
grew up.
Authority.
Sports Authority.
Right.
That's there you go.
There was
Foot
a
Locker.
hat store in
Foot Locker.
the mall, and I don't remember what it was called, but there was an actual, like, might not have been Lids, but there was a hat store in the mall. I don't remember what it was
I
called.
can't remember because the Staten Island Mall, of course. The
Of
mall.
The mall.
The
Of
mall.
course.
Man, I'm pretty sure it was Foot Locker though. That's where I got my first fitted Mets hat, and that back then. That was $25, I think, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, right.
Now $25, like, man, half off? What?
Seriously. Yeah.
And then it continued. So I started buying more hats and more hats, and now I need to go into the archive and actually count, guys, but I'm pretty sure I have at least 50 Mets hats. At least 50.
So, but that's not your.
I might even go with the over on that one.
You're gonna
I
go with
might-
the over
I
for just Mets hats though.
for just
I know.
okay. Actually, that's a
Just
good point.
Mets hats.
Just Mets hats. So I'm pretty sure I have over 100 hats.
I'm
Oh,
going over.
accumulated
seriously?
100.
I'm going
Mets.
over 50 Mets hats.
Okay. Easy. If he's got 100 hats, it's easy over 50 Mets.
It's
I'm going
easy,
way.
yeah.
I'm saying.
All right.
I'm saying 72.
Now I have some Syracuse Mets stuff. I have a fair number of those. I have some Binghamton stuff.
So are you counting those as part of your Mets collection?
I think we'll leave it to New York. I think we'll leave it to the Major
just
League
just
team.
the
How about that?
okay, just the main
So-
the main team, the main New York Mets franchise.
All right, well, we're gonna have to lower that a little bit.
I still think it's over 50.
I still think it's over 50 still.
That's my
I'll go
estimate.
I'll go with like just under 60.
So I will. So now I have homework. So
Yes,
I'll have to dig
do.
into my archives. Maybe I'll have an answer for you by our next podcast. Or maybe
Okay.
not.
All right.
Maybe I'll have
It's
a
so many you
full-
can't even do it in one time.
I'll have a full inventory for you. How's that? Because I had when they made it to the World Series in 2000, they had the patch on the side, so I
Yeah,
bought all three
yeah,
of
yeah.
those.
Of course.
When
Three of
they had the old 9/11, after that they had the American flag patch, so I bought all three of those. World Series 2015, I think I had three of those, maybe. But I stopped with I didn't do the spring training hats. Like, no, that's a bridge too far for me.
I just got the postseason hat, the 2024 postseason hat.
Yeah, not
recently.
me. I'm not buying that.
Oh well, I only got it because it was 50% off at the Mets team store. So
See,
that's the only
there
reason,
you
why,
go.
only reason why I bought it. I was gonna buy it otherwise.
Syracuse
It was like 20
Mets.
bucks.
They had their shot clock mascot. Remember they did
Yeah.
the shot clocks?
Yeah, yeah.
$5 for a
No
fitted
way.
hat. $5. So I bought a
Really?
couple. Yeah.
Damn, I missed that one, huh?
Yeah.
I
They might
got to
still
get the
have
salt
them.
potato one. I love the salt potato
Those are
one.
cool.
Those are
Yeah.
awesome hats.
But so I bought those. I mean, I have the ice cream, like the white cap with the blue bill from
Oh my
97.
God. I used to have that.
I had that. The black ones with the blue bill, like the
Yep.
Turk
Yeah.
Wendell,
Turk
John Franco
But
Wendell.
era.
do all these so we've established that all these hats don't all fit you anymore.
If you have 100 hats that are size 7 and 5/8, some of them are going to be like jeans, right? Where you have a bunch of jeans that are all the same size allegedly, but some of them are smaller, some
Allegedly.
of them a little larger, you know.
Different
So
cuts. Different cuts.
different.
Oh
But they
man,
don't
yeah.
all they don't all fit the exact same, even though it's the same hat size.
Huh.
This hat fits great. The one I'm wearing right now. It's fantastic. But,
So do you have like besides your Mets hats, right? And the farm
okay.
team and all that,
Yeah.
do you have any other hats? Like what's your oldest hat? I guess we'll start there. What is your
Well, it's
oldest
got to be a
hat that
Mets
you
hat.
have?
Well, my oldest hat was it was a corduroy Mets hat, like given to
Corduroy?
me corduroy, like when I was 7, 8, 9, somewhere in that area. So mid 80s. That was my first Mets hat.
Like
And I, s-
you've kept these hats?
uh, I still have it in my
Yeah.
archive. It's in there somewhere, along with the first fitted hat I ever bought, which stinks. I probably should not have that in the archive because yeah, it stinks.
So
Very
how do you
sweaty.
store them? How do you store these hats? Where do you put them?
They're in my closet. It's not that bad.
Do
Yeah,
you have room for your clothes or
yeah. Don't worry, because my wife worked as a professional organizer for a lot of years, so she had these big Ziploc bags
okay, all
you
right.
can store stuff in. So I'm like, hey, let me put some of these in here. So there we go.
Interesting.
But some of them are most of them are in a big trunk that is in the
Hmm.
closet as well. It's way back there. It's the archive. I call that the archive. Got a couple of Oswego hats in there, like way back in the day, And if you're listening and maybe you went to college around the time that we did, late 90s, early aughts, like just about every college in the country had these white hats with the two bars across the front, and the
Yeah.
name was in between the two bars. Oswego had them. I'm sure every SUNY had them.
Oh yeah.
So I still have mine in the archive somewhere. So
I never had that hat actually.
I did. I don't know what happened to it. I long gone. Long
Yeah,
gone.
I never had that one. I have I have a hat. I have a few Oswego hats, but the first hat I ever bought from Oswego was like it was just like it was not even like it's a dark green hat, it's very dark, and it's got like it just O and an S on it, like
mm,
almost like interlocking.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then I bought after he graduated, I bought like an Oswego. They came out with this Oswego hockey hat, like a fitted hat, so I bought that one.
The thing with the barred ones, the ones
mhm.
with the two bars there, you had to get the brim just right, right? You had to bend it
Mhm.
correctly.
Yeah.
Like it couldn't be too much, but you had to really like have a nice,
Yeah.
curve on the brim or else it didn't
Hmm.
fit right.
Yeah. I remember I used to see people wearing those hats to the bone. Like those hats, like
Oh
get
Yeah.
yeah.
ripped all on the
Oh yeah.
brim. Like you literally, and you'd see people wearing them everywhere. And like that was actually kind of like the style back then,
It
actually, to
was.
have
Yeah, it was.
like they
Yeah,
were selling hats kind of almost like that to a
pretty
certain
much.
point.
Ah, the 90s.
And then I had a conversation. I actually had this conversation recently with someone. Like getting a hat, and when you first bought the hat, you like specifically bent it. You molded it like, and you kind of would hold it closed. Do you ever do that? Like you
Yeah,
hold it shut
yeah.
to get it
Yes.
really like bent and mold it into the right way. People don't
Mhm.
do that anymore. Like hats
No,
are like kind of like
it's a straight
a
brim
lot of
now.
people just wear the straight. Like I
Yeah, yeah.
bend it a little bit now, but like not as much as like literally I would just sit there with it held like this.
Do you know what the trick was? You had to put it in like a mug or a glass. So
Yeah, and sit it in there. Right?
yes, and just set it in there for maybe a few hours or however long you want it in there for it to just stay like that.
Yeah.
I've also heard you wrap it around a baseball. Like you wrap the
Yes.
brim around a baseball, put some rubber bands around it,
Mhm.
and
Yeah.
It's a good trick too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those were the days, man.
Man,
I
Hat styling. Hat
that's
styling
yeah.
101.
it's very different now. It is
And,
very different.
and backwards hats gone. Like no one does anyone really wear backwards baseball hats anymore?
No, just some
Sometimes.
quarterbacks.
Sometimes, once in a while. Every once in a while I might
Every
do it,
once
but
in a
very
while.
rarely.
Does Baker
But
Mayfield still wear his hat backwards?
I
He's the
once
only one.
one time during I think it was during break. I went to my mom used to teach in the Bronx and I went to school with her one day and I was wearing my hat backwards and she yelled at me because I mean she taught like early childhood like kindergartners and I was like I go into school with my hat backwards and it was like I think it was always a big Ken Griffey Jr. fan so it was a Seattle Mariners hat
yeah.
and she was like what are you doing? I'm like she said, turn your hat around. I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, you can't wear your hat this way. The kids can't see you wearing your hat. I'm like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, this is normal. She's like, no, turn your hat around. I was like, oh God, man,
A friend of mine in
I got
college,
scolded.
he said he would wear his baseball hat in the shower so that
Interesting.
it would mold to his head. So
Huh.
Oh,
it
really?
would get wet, and then when it dried, it would basically be
That's too
yeah,
tight. I feel
be
like.
fit.
That would be too tight. Yeah.
Well, fitted
I don't
hats,
know.
they when they get you can if they get too wet, they like shrink. You know,
Right.
like if you tried to like wash it, you know,
See
they shrink.
now, back 30 years ago, the hats were made with wool, but they're polyester now. The hats are poly. Isn't this exciting hat talk on throwing bagels?
That's good stuff,
But
man. That was
I
great.
love it.
they're
I'm enjoying
polyester
it.
now, not wool.
You know the problem with those the hats way back in the days, the plastic thing, where you had to clip it so that it fit correctly on your head.
Yeah.
Those always broke, but
People taped them.
you had to tape it. That's right. You
Yeah.
had to tape it out, get some athletic tape and tape it up, and
But then it was, and you were screwed if if you're somehow your
and
head grew or got smaller, you were.
you got to untape it. You got to cut the tape off and retape it.
I can't wear them. My head's too big. Like a lot of times I would be on the last rung on the adjustable hat. And so after that, I'm like, I'll just go with the fitted hat. That's fine.
Kevin's got a big head, is what
That's
he's
the
saying.
complete opposite of my son. My son gets a hat. I have to like literally put it into like the very last thing, and it's like still not tight enough for him. He's like, it's not tight enough. I'm like, dude, we gotta give you some roids or something, get their head
Right.
bigger.
And unfortunately, I think I think I should unsubscribe from New Era's emails because I keep getting them in my inbox and they're like, ooh, a sale. Click.
See that? There you go.
You
That's
are
your
there. You
problem right
are their
there.
perfect customer
You're
right there.
hooked.
Yeah.
You're hooked. That's me in soccer jerseys.
What can I say?
Listen, I got to have the newest Liverpool jersey. Like that's
How
just the
many
way
do
it
you
is.
have? How many do you have?
Jerseys?
Yeah.
Just soccer jerseys?
Just soccer jerseys.
Oh yeah, no, there's a lot. I don't not the collection that Kevin has with hats, not anywhere near, but it's well over 30 jerseys,
Wow.
soccer jerseys. Yeah, a lot of Greek
How many are
jerseys that you
Liverpool?
can't get. Liverpool, I think I've got like 4 or 5.
Mm.
Okay.
Um,
So they're mostly Greek jerseys.
there's a lot of Greek jerseys. Yep, I've got 2 Greek national team jerseys, a bunch of AEK Athens jerseys, a couple of jerseys from my parents' hometown, that soccer team. So yeah, it's an illness. I can't help it. But you got to have the newest because that's the thing that gets you with the soccer jerseys. There's a new one every year. Every single year is a new one.
Yeah. They always come out with a different color. And so I always found
That's
that really weird. I always found that really weird with soccer jerseys. With
well, that's
soccer
the
teams.
away kit though. That's the away jersey.
I
'Cause
know,
it's got to
but
be a different color.
I always find that weird. Like randomly, like one year it's blue,
Yeah,
next year it's red.
that's
Like,
right. And
your
it can be
team
white.
colors are like red and white. Like stick to your team colors.
That's the home team colors.
But
The tradition in soccer, the away jersey
I don't
is
like
usually
it.
a
I'm not a
different
big
color.
fan of that. Do you
It's like
just randomly pick a color?
well, no, because like for Liverpool, for instance, like their quote unquote secondary color is green and white. So they'll do like a combination of like green or white, or they'll have like a gray sometimes,
Mm.
black. a dark green, highlighter green sometimes. So
I
yeah,
don't
it
know.
just varies.
I don't like that. Stick to your team colors, damn it. Stick to your team colors. That's all I gotta
So
say.
such a myopic view.
It's just weird. It's weird. Like that's like the Mets saying, you know what? We're gonna go with like fuchsia and blue.
But the teams do now. All the teams do now.
Yeah.
They
And
have
those
all
are
these ridiculous
ridiculous
colors.
also.
It's all about the people like
Yeah.
me who got to buy the newest
You
one.
got you
And
got to buy
Chris,
the new one,
right?
right? Exactly. I can't wait till next year because Liverpool has Nike as their
Mhm.
manufacturer. They're switching to Adidas next year, and whoa, I've seen some of the pictures that have been leaked out. Oh my God, I can't wait. I got to get them all. Third jersey, I don't get all of them. Give me all of
Yeah.
them.
All in all, to kind of circle back, I sent you guys the picture. Like I was at a Syracuse Mets game over the summer, and this guy
Mm.
in front of us had a literal Juan Soto Mets jersey, like
Yep.
blue jersey, orange Soto in the name and number 22 on the back. He was manifesting,
He
man.
was taking his
He was,
he was shooting a
He
shot.
did.
He
He
was shooting
did.
a shot.
and it came true. So he looks like a genius. Whoever that
Does look
man
like
was,
genius.
you are a genius, sir. Thank you.
What if he
Thank you
gets the
for,
number right? Think he'll get the number right?
So here's the other thing. I was listening to a show that I listen to every day, and today they mentioned they're like, so isn't Brett Beatty number 22? And they're like, yeah. Be like, but is he on the roster right now? Like, how is Soto gonna get his number? I'm like,
buy it.
I'm pretty sure he could give Beatty $10 million and it wouldn't be like anything to him.
Seriously.
Buy him a house or something.
Right. A house.
Beatty
Brett,
could ask for a Maserati, and
exactly. I
Soto
mean,
will
then
say,
again,
"Here you go."
Beatty might get traded before that happens, so who knows?
It's possible. Don't tell your son that though.
I know. Oh God, I'm dreading that day. So dreading that day.
Time will tell.
So yeah, if you're not familiar, Jason's son is a huge Brett Beatty fan, huge, and so it'd be very
All of my
disappointing.
son's favorite players are either in danger of not being on the Mets anymore for whatever reason, whether it's Brett Beatty, who just hasn't performed well, Pete Alonso, who is a free agent and may not be back, and Jose Iglesias, who's also a free agent and may
Mm.
not be back. And then I was walking to pick up my kids from school today, and this woman that I know stopped me, and she was telling me she has three boys, and her youngest is in kindergarten. She goes, he cried again because the first time he cried is when Saquon Barkley left the Giants to go to the Eagles. And now today he cried because she told him that Soto signed with the Mets. This poor kid, every time his favorite player, and they somehow leave his teams to go to another team. She's like, I don't know what I'm gonna do next. I don't know what the next favorite player is gonna be that leaves, but
Listen, kid, that's what life's about.
exactly.
Suck it up.
It's you got to
Yeah,
root for the laundry. That's
I
it.
know.
That's it. Not the name on the back,
I'm
the name
dreading
on
I'm
the
dreading the
front.
day when Iglesias signs with the Padres, like they had said he was going to do, and oh, it's going to be a bad day in my
What
house.
what happens then? Does the OMG sign now come out in that team's colors? Like what
I don't
does
know. I feel like OMG is just kind of gonna fall by the wayside a little bit this year.
I
Like
know.
it'll
Yeah,
still be
probably.
around, but it's not going to be. I mean, who knows? Maybe the Mets will somehow come to an agreement with him, but I highly doubt it because he's not gonna. Uh, he wants more years than the Mets are probably going to
Right.
offer him, and he's not going to have the role this year that he had last year. Probably like he got very lucky the way he performed and the
Mhm.
injuries they had and stuff like that. So
We do want to revisit Chris's most recent blog.
Oh,
I think we
wow.
should touch
Okay.
on that at least before we get on out of here. But Chris, you mentioned so you wrote about Thanksgiving, and thank you
Yes.
for
Oh,
the
you're
kind
welcome.
words.
Yes, of course.
About saying that you're uh, have a great time on the podcast, and we do. I do. I'm grateful to have the opportunity to join you two guys every other week. It's been a blast, and it's been almost 2 years.
That's
So it's
crazy.
crazy. It's crazy. But you had your top five and not top five
That's right.
Thanksgiving foods. And you know what? I think Jason and I are in agreement. It's a pretty solid list. But why don't
All right.
you
Yeah, let me
take us through
rehash them
that?
for
Let's
everyone.
go.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So the worst five for me, OLI, cranberry sauce. Take it or leave it, right? Yeah, whatever. Number five, stuffing.
See,
Just
this is
the
the
sticky
one.
point.
This
Okay.
is the one I got. I'm like, no, can't. Sorry.
It's for me, maybe it's just me personally, it's a texture thing, right? Because it's just too mushy. The bread is mushy and it gets soggy and
But
it's
that's
just
the
not my
point of stuffing.
it's nasty.
So you're not a bread
Nasty.
pudding guy. You're not a bread
No,
pudding
I don't
guy
do
at
Oh, I
bread.
all.
don't do
No,
bread pudding. I don't do
no.
bread
See,
pudding.
see, that's weird. That's weird to me. I
What?
don't
That I don't do
understand
bread
that.
pudding?
Yeah, yeah, because you like stuffing, like
It's
stuff.
not
It's
the
like the
same
same
thing. That's
texture,
one's a pudding, though. No, it's not the same thing.
same textures.
No.
Number
That's
four, ham. Dude, if you're doing a ham on Thanksgiving, listen, I get it. You have 150 people coming to your house. You need something to break up the turkey. No, it's got to be turkey. No ham. Get that out of here. That's a Christmas thing.
well, I'm the wrong person to talk about having ham on Thanksgiving, so
Ah, there we go. Unbelievable.
we don't do that in our house.
You don't do turkey?
No, we don't do ham.
Oh, I was
I'm
gonna
Jewish,
say.
man. We can't do ham. Well, I could do it, but some people in my family can't do it.
That's what I'm saying. Get ham out of here. It's got to be turkey on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Number three, any sort of marshmallow topping on anything like your sweet potato. Come on.
I don't love sweet potatoes, but you got to put the marshmallows on it. Like that's part of the sweet potato. You got to put the marshmallows on it.
I don't know. Put maple syrup on there too.
Now you're getting crazy. Now you're just
People
being
do
crazy.
that though.
No, they don't.
I've seen it done. They'll put marshmallows and maple syrup on it. It's like, what, you just want dessert? Just go get
On
some
sweet
other
potatoes?
shit. Yes.
No way.
I'm telling you, I've seen
That's
it.
crazy.
I know.
Those people should just not be allowed to celebrate Thanksgiving ever
Get out of
again.
here. That's right.
I've had sweet potato fries with like some kind of maple dipping sauce, and
See?
that's been fantastic. I love it.
That's not the same thing, though.
It's a little
But
different.
so we've had, and you know what? For me, I don't care if it comes with marshmallows. All right, if it doesn't, that's fine too. I don't really care either way. Uh, but I've had this. It's like pecans and brown sugar, like on the top, so that it gets all
Of your
that sounds
sweet
delicious.
potato?
yeah, so it gets a little crunchy on the top.
I've never had that, but
Good stuff.
teach their own.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Number two, green bean casserole. Do you come into my house with a green bean casserole? I'm kicking your butt out. Just get out of here with that. And then you put like onion things on it. Just get out of here with that. Out. And number one, too, Jello. You come with a Jello salad of any sort.
No, that's
Out.
Not
My
absolutely
grandmother,
not.
my grandmother used to make this like Jello
Oh,
with like,
gross.
and she'd put like fruit in it, so it would be
Yeah,
like fruit
right.
inside the Jello, but it would be like a
Gross.
mold.
Yeah, I can't.
Gross. Get it
My,
out of here.
my grandmother used to make that.
Ah.
Aren't you guys glad we're not that old? That we're not old enough to have done the tuna in the Jello.
Oh,
Ew, who did that?
Yeah.
Tuna and
Have
that's
you seen
disgusting.
these recipes from the 70s, man? They were like,
Ew, that's
let's
disgusting.
put Kraft mayo and tuna in a mold and
That's
like-
add some
It's
gelatin.
awful.
It's like the trifle from Friends. Remember
Oh
that
my
when
God.
Rachel makes a thing and she puts the ground beef in there with something with
Oh.
like pudding or whatever it was.
Gross. Just tuna and Jello.
Yeah, seriously. It's a
I
recipe.
just threw up in my mouth a little bit. That's nasty. Oh, God. All right.
Yeah, gross.
I got my top 5 Thanksgiving dishes here. OLI, cranberry sauce. Some people like it, some people don't. Depends on how you make it, if it's canned or not, blah, blah, blah.
Can. It's got to be in a can.
I think so too. Everyone
I'm
that
not a
tries
cranberry
the-
sauce person. So
Yes, yeah, I take it or leave it. It depends.
Yeah.
Anyways. Number 5, turkey. Gotta have a turkey.
Yeah.
And my trick to a turkey so it doesn't dry out is A, do a dry rub on it the night before. Don't use salt
Mm.
because it dries it out. And then you put it in the oven. Just baste it with your whatever basting liquid you want to use. Ah, beautiful. Number 4, gotta have some Hawaiian rolls, man. Gotta have the Hawaiian rolls that dip in your gravy and your
yeah, but you're
mashed
gonna eat so many of them,
potatoes.
you're gonna be full.
Ah, it's okay. That's what Thanksgiving's for,
That's
man.
right.
Just gluttonous.
No calories.
Ridiculous. That's right. 3. Number 3 is gravy, by the way. Got to have a brown gravy. It's got to be a brown
Mm.
gravy with your turkey and your mashed
Like, are
potatoes.
you talking
Number
like
2,
a thick gravy, or just like any type of gravy?
it's any type of gravy you like, man. If you like a thick gravy, you make a thick gravy. If you don't like a thick gravy, don't make a thick gravy. But
I'm just
there's got to
curious.
be
I'm
a
curious what
gravy
your
on
rule
there.
was. That's all.
It's just gravy. It's got to have. It's
Okay.
got to lather everything with gravy.
I'm
That's
with
all
you
it
on that
is.
one.
Everything. Yeah.
I'm good.
Everything.
I'm good on that.
Everything on the plate, just lather with gravy.
Oh,
Number
Stuffing.
2, potato. Oh, stuffing. Get out of here. Number 2, potatoes. Whether you like a baked potato, a sweet baked potato,
Gotta be
mashed
mashed.
potatoes,
Gotta be
gotta have
mashed.
mashed, man. But I love all potatoes. I love potatoes. So it doesn't matter to me what kind of potato it is. If you don't mash it, I'm gonna take a baked potato. I'm gonna mash it myself. I'm gonna lather it with gravy.
So here's my question for you. So you say sweet potatoes okay, but you don't want
Don't put
sweet
the
potato.
marshmallow on it. Get that out of here. Get the marshmallow
So you
out of
can
here.
you can make a regular sweet potato casserole type thing as long as the marshmallows aren't on it. You're
You
fine with
said
it.
casserole. No, it's casserole.
Whatever, you know what I mean? Like in a dish.
Just a baked potato. Just give me a
Bake it.
a
Yeah.
sweet baked potato or yam.
You want it.
right?
You want it just like in the skin, just like a
Just
baked potato type.
Give me the
sweet potato.
skin. I want to put salt and pepper on it. I'm going to lather it
Alright.
with butter, and I'm going to eat it. And I
Gotcha.
might eat the skin too. That's how I am. Number 1, dessert: apple pie, pumpkin pie,
Pecan pie.
pecan pie, whatever. There's got to be a pie. There's got to be a cake of some sort. Maybe we got to have heavy whipped cream,
yes.
ice cream. And then after you have dessert, you have dinner again, and then dessert again. Like that's how you have to have that.
I can't eat that much.
Don't you get hungry? Like so for Thanksgiving.
No, I
you
was
have Thanksgiving
I'm
early,
full
right?
for like a day after I eat Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Kidding me?
Dude, there's always room for dessert, man.
Well, I hate
Always.
dessert. Don't get me wrong. But like the
Always
next
room.
day, I'm like, I wake up, I'm like, oh my god,
Yeah.
I'm so full still.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the way Thanksgiving is. So that was a recap of the blog that I wrote a
Yeah.
long time ago, whenever that was, last week, 2 weeks ago.
Last week.
I don't know.
There's an endless parade of all you can eat opportunities here between, and Thanksgiving kicks it off, and then you have Christmas,
Yes.
Hanukkah, you have New Year's Eve, you have New Year's Eve, you have Super Bowl
Yes.
Sunday. These are all phenomenal opportunities to stuff your face with fantastic food. So 'tis the season.
It's true.
Yeah.
You don't really get those. They're few and far between during the warmer months. You have your barbecues, of course.
Barbecues. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
it's not the same thing.
It's not.
No.
It's not the same thing.
From the end of November, literally through beginning of February, because then you have to play off football every weekend for like throughout January for the most part. So you're just stuffing your face watching football.
That's right. You're
You know.
eating wings, pizza,
Right.
lathering
So-
everything with blue cheese. Yeah, I mean, this is what you got to do.
Oh, it's awesome.
That's why they say you get it all in the winter, and then like come like March, people are like, "Gotta hit the gym again. Let's
That's
go."
it. Yeah. Got to get to running again so I can referee. Get my butt up and down the field.
All right. Well, this was fun. We'll have to do it again. Soon.
Yes, we will.
Yes, we will. We don't have anyone for the next podcast either, so we'll see what happens.
We'll find someone.
We'll find some.
find
I'm sure
someone.
someone will feel bad for us and come on.
We'll
But
pull them
listen,
off the street.
yeah, this was a fine conversation.
I enjoyed it.
We should have the wives and fiancés on next time, maybe.
I was just gonna say that, Chris. You've read
Were you
my
really?
mind. Yes, I was. Seriously. Since Allison's an Oswego grad, there we still have a tie-in, right? To
That's
throwing
true.
bagels.
That's true.
She's
There you go.
she has thrown. Has she thrown a bagel? I don't know.
don't
She's
think
thrown
she's thrown a-
pucks. She's done chuck-a-puck many a time. She's a veteran.
Yeah, I don't
Wait,
think
so
she's
she's never
bagel.
thrown a bagel?
I don't think she's
I don't
thrown a
think
bagel.
so.
Really?
I don't think so. No.
Is that because she just wasn't there during the time of the bagel throwing, or she just chose not to throw the bagel?
She was
I-
around. She was around for that. She was. I don't
Yeah.
think she was in school anymore, but she was around for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 98. So she was 2 years ahead of me. I mean, it was prime bagel throwing era.
Hmm.
So, but I don't know. I don't think she threw any bagels.
Interesting.
But She's happy to do it, by the way. She's like itching to go. She wants to co-host. So
Okay. All right. That's good to know. Good to know.
We'll make it happen.
no,
I'm sure they'll look
Okay.
forward to it.
sure they will. Until next time, throwingbagels.com is our not our email. That's our website.
Yep.
Throwingbagelspodcast@gmail.com is our email address.
Yes,
It
it
is.
And you can find all of our socials. We're on, what are we now? What are we on? We're on
We're on everything.
We're on
We're on
it all.
everything.
We're
I
on
don't
it
know if
all.
we're on Blue Sky yet.
We're not
No,
on
we
Blue
did
Sky.
that.
Maybe we'll do that. Or we're on YouTube. We're on YouTube.
We are on
Like
the
and
Right.
subscribe. Like and subscribe, please.
Gotta
That'll
do
help
it.
us out. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Chris, Jason.
Kevin, Jason.
Kevin, Chris,
Bye.
adios.